as we look at this vision, is this sound? Does Ricky have a right to be upset here that this wasn't come out? Looks like it's come off the glove initially.
Well, yeah, but I mean, again, it's one of those things that I think that obviously Ricky's claimed the catch. He thinks that it did come off the glove. Are the video replays, Laurie, conclusive? I say not 100%.
Well,
I think
that one,
certainly
Jimmy,
Simon's in that.
Yeah, that one, Jimmy.
Yeah, you go.
Law 32, I had a look just before. If the ball touches the ground, even though it's in the hand, it can't be given out. Now, that's the judgment you have to make. Now, I don't think for sure you can say the ball's hit the ground there. You can certainly say Ponting got his hand on it, but did it hit the ground? And that's probably why he went a little bit off at the press conference. But having said that, that's another issue again, his performance at the presser. But clearly, he's allowed to appeal for that. If he looks at it on video later and thinks it's hit the ground, then that's another thing altogether.
Yep. But is it conclusive it came off the glove anyway? Did it come off the glove? I mean, I can't tell from those angles there whether it can absolutely conclusively come off the glove. Isn't it benefit of the doubt to the batsman?
Well, it is. And, Jimmy, the issue there, I think, is whether he actually caught the ball, not so much whether it came off the glove. The umpires ruled it not out because he didn't think it hit the batsman's glove. Whether he caught it or not is another thing, and that's, you know, an interesting one. But, you know, I think the right decision was made there, fortunately.
Now, that catch sparked just a little bit of controversy when an Indian journalist questioned Ponting's integrity at the post-match media conference.
I claimed a catch after Grant. Sorry, I think you've got something wrong there. There's no way I grounded that ball. And I think if you're actually questioning my integrity in the game, then you shouldn't be standing here.
Ricky Ponting, in the first innings he allowed Travis to continue, and in the second innings, are you sure about having claimed that catch?
Well, have I not, with what I did in the first innings, doesn't that explain the way I play the game? By not...
why I'm asking you, Ricky.
Okay, so I'm saying that I'm 100% sure that I would have caught that catch of Dhoni today. As it turned out, it was given not out anyway. Am I right or wrong? Am I right or wrong? So you've got.
I have my doubt, and that's why I'm asking.
Okay, fine.
Laurie, pretty amazing scenes for a media conference.
Yeah, the Indian journalists really wearing their heart on their sleeve there, and they were pretty disappointed as well, I suppose. But the thing about it is, you should be allowed to ask a question, and the Indian journalist did. Ricky was a little bit tense with his reply, and I mean, Jim, we've all been to press conferences over the years where we've had to ask the hard question, and you know, Mick Moldhouse and AFL coaches aren't the easiest blokes to deal with either. So yeah, a tricky one that.
Jimmy, what's your take on that one?
Yeah, sorry, Luke. It was. It's interesting, isn't it? The emotion was running so high. Ricky was charged. I mean, the emotion of winning such a dramatic test match in those circumstances. And then that Indian press corps, you know, it was a fair and reasonable question. And, Ricky, who's, I think, a fantastic leader, a great captain, and has really matured and mellowed, I think, as the years have gone on. Yeah, he dropped his guard there. And I think that he should have just remained cool and calm and composed. And I know that he was being... it was a pretty inflammatory sort of proposition, but it was, again, a fair question. It was a tough question, but it had to be asked. And I thought he didn't do himself any favours there, Rick. And I think Rick, if he looked back at that, would probably agree that, you know, maybe he could have handled it a bit differently.
Maybe the end of a tough fifth day there, Ricky Ponting could have just handled that a little bit better. What happened next, though, was even more bizarre. One of the senior Indian journalists complained to the Indian team management about the treatment he'd been receiving from the Australian captain. Let's have a look, then I want both of your reactions.
So I feel as a senior member of the Indian press that we were humiliated like anything, and in due course, since we will be having a dialogue with the Australian Cricket Australia or their counterpart, please make this happen. That, you know, this is a press conference and the media persons should be allowed to ask questions. That is very, very humiliating, and please note it down. Thank you.
You know, the pride and presumption to even ask a senior scribe to get out of this room to ask a question. So that's simply...
Let's get these questions out of the way and deal with this later.
Okay, hang on. It's not a
It's not an issue.
You might be responsible for you, Peter. It's not for us.
It's a very serious issue.
You can go walk out.
The point is taken, Boya, and we will definitely convey your sentiments. We'll do that.
Now, I guess Ricky Ponting did go a little bit over the top. Jim, was that over the top?
Yeah, the journalist in that respect just crossed a big line. He started challenging and started venting his own personal opinion in a press conference. Of course he crossed a line. I think it was, yes, Ricky should have answered the question more appropriately, but the way that press journalist carried on was just unacceptable. So, and then all of a sudden it turns into a circus. There's Anil Kumble He's just been beaten by 122 runs, watched his tail enders just collapse basically with Michael Clarke, and he's sitting there trying to, thinking to himself, this is a media conference where I actually should be the star of the show and answering the questions as captain of the Indian side. It turned into an absolute circus and a rabble.
That was a circus, wasn't it, Laurie?
Yeah, I think the cultural differences between how Indian journalists run things and Australian journalists run things are a bit different. I mean, an Australian journo would ask that question, maybe cop that bit of a spray back from Ricky and just walk on, but the Indians didn't enjoy it, and it's a pity.
It was a pity.
And can I just say
sure,
quickly there, the Indian journalists are terrific to work with. I've covered the World Cup in 1996. I've been on an Indian tour. They are fantastic. They're passionate and they know the game. They're educated. And that gentleman was obviously upset with Ricky's reaction, but that's not gives him any justification to go to go down that avenue of venting his spleen. So again, I'm not having a crack at Indians or Indian journalists. They are very, very educated, very passionate, and they love the game, and we all love that. That's terrific.
Indeed, passionate.